Do clothes make the man? And more importantly, can they stop you from being shot or killed? Hey, let's find out. Captain America has become one of the most iconic heroes in history. Throughout Cap's comic, small screen, and big screen history, he has worn a wide variety of suits which all serve him well in defending the nation. Sure, Versace and Ralph Lauren are great, probably, but if I'm given the choice, I'll take either someone with the last name Stark or a fashion designer from Wakanda, please. The Star-Spangled hero has worn a variety of suits, each with new abilities, armor, or function. But without further ado, let's see which of Cap's suits you should take into battle, and which ones you should maybe leave hanging in the closet for a while.
Put on the suit. Let's go a few rounds.
I suppose when you become a Dr. Manhattan look-alike with a giant pair of angel wings, the functionality of your suit isn't necessarily the first thing on your mind. In the comic event known as Paradise X, Earth found itself without death. The Kree Marvel then decided to make several heroes into what would be known as avenging hosts. These hosts would hold the responsibility of bringing new souls from the realm of the dead into paradise. Captain America was chosen for this honor. Given this new form along with his new title, Captain America chose for his uniform a single American flag wrapped around his body, most likely to make sure to keep things PG-13. While the ensemble and new angelic look of Captain America is certainly breathtaking to behold, it's not something I would recommend to anyone who is not gifted with angel wings. Basically, if you tried to wear this into battle, you would look like a kid in high school who had their gym clothes stolen, so they ran to the gymnasium and grabbed the flag off the wall to wrap around them and go look for their shorts.
I can explain this.
After Project Rebirth proved to be successful in transforming Steve Rogers into the world's first super soldier, Dr. Erskine was shot and killed, and so died any immediate hopes of reproducing the program. Unsatisfied with only one soldier, Colonel Phillips denied Steve a place amongst his ranks. It was at this point Steve became the propaganda machine known as the Star-Spangled Man with a plan. In direct tribute to Cap's first comic book appearance, Steve was given a suit made of what appears to be Senator Brandt's grandmother's best knitting work, complete with the crocheted A on his forehead and wings on the side. Long story short, this suit is fantastic if you're trying to sell war bonds or knock out Adolf Hitler over 200 times, but it probably wouldn't be very useful in stopping a butter knife. The first time Steve Rogers abandoned the mantle of Captain America, he set himself on a personal quest with sewing needles in hand to create a new identity. Using his background as a comic book artist, Steve began to make his own costume and search for a new moniker. He settled with a black and yellow color scheme and the name Nomad in honor of his cutting loose from his past and becoming a man without a country. He created a very low-cut black suit made of all-weather fabric which serves almost no purpose. He even talked himself into adding a cape, citing the reason as, and I'm not kidding here, why not?
No capes.
His yellow boots and gloves came from normal retail outlets. In the end, the costume is not incredibly functional and is exactly what you would think a comic book nerd would create for himself if given some fabric and thread. In 1990, a forgotten gem was created. Matt Salinger donned the iconic shield and uniform in a film directed by Albert Pyun and went toe-to-toe with the Red Skull. Several liberties were taken with Cap's story, but he was still frozen in ice and awakened several years later to save the President of the United States.
Mr. President! Thanks.
But the big question here is, what on earth is he wearing? What appears to be a painted wetsuit, the costume provides little advantage in battle. It also appears to make it rather difficult for Steve to actually see. However, if I was to say anything, I would say that it seems to make him much more aerodynamic, which in turn would make him faster and quicker on his feet. To complete the ensemble is his deceptively powerful shield. While it may appear to be made out of a rubber frisbee one would throw for their dog to catch, it accomplishes several powerful feats in the film, including smashing through solid concrete. In 1979, Reb Brown picked up the shield as Steve Rogers in Captain America, the 1979 TV movie. Marking an insane alteration in his backstory, Steve's father was a 1940s government agent whose patriotism earned him the name Captain America. After his father's murder, Steve, working as a traveling artist, was in a severe accident. He was administered an experimental chemical known as the Flag Formula, which healed his injuries and turned him into an enhanced super soldier. The government gave him a suit based on his drawings, but it's quite obvious that they were just huge fans of Evel Knievel. His outfit consists of a red, white, and blue motorcycle suit, complete with a large 70s motorcycle helmet and goggles. He always wears it, like even when running after criminals. I mean, at least his head is protected? His outfit is completed with maybe the most pathetic excuse of a plastic see-through shield you've ever seen. After his USO tour led him to Azano, Steve learned of the capture of the 107th Infantry and his friend Bucky Barnes. This is where Steve's true character shone through. Against orders, Steve went on a mission with help from Peggy and Howard Stark to save his friend. His Sunday sweater of a uniform would need a bit of tweaking. Given the resources Steve had available to him, I would say he did a pretty good job. In what is a personal favorite look of Cap's, he added a combat leather jacket, pants, boots, and goggles. To complete the ensemble, he borrowed an A helmet from one of the Star-Spangled Singers and put his stage shield to good use, though it did dent a little easier than future versions. Hopefully that helmet actually functions properly and isn't just a plastic piece of stage equipment. During an Avengers story, the villainous Morgan Le Fay created a reality distortion wave that sent time backwards into a medieval setting. Several Avengers took on alternate medieval identities. Falcon became Blackbird, Hank Pym became Gigantus, and Steve Rogers became Yeoman America. Dressed in his still iconic red, white, and blue, Yeoman America donned a traditional suit of armor worn by medieval knights. He carried a sword and his still circular shield. As far as looks, the Cap outfit is awesome. As far as functionality, there is a reason the knight's suit of armor became obsolete. I'm sure it worked great in the world that Morgan put them in, as it would prove effective against your average sword. However, in any other setting, I imagine it would be difficult to move in and likely very ineffective against materials of the modern age, like vibranium and adamantium. When Captain America first appeared on the cover of a comic book in 1941, socking old Adolf on the jaw, his look became an instant classic that he would carry for years to come. We've come to learn that Steve's suit from the beginning was made of a chainmail-like substance around the chest, creating a protective material around vital areas and appearing as a fish scale-like image. The weaknesses in this suit revolved primarily around Steve's exposed neck. He also carried his first shield, which he would not upgrade until a few issues later. While this one possessed the capability to deflect bullets, it was not as useful offensively as his future design. After Cap took over as the leader of the Avengers, he was given a new and more heavily armored suit, again created by Tony Stark. After the events of Civil War, Cap left his shield behind and went on the run with Falcon, Wanda, and Black Widow, still donning the same uniform. He tore the Avengers patches off the shoulders, as well as the white star in the center. Upon his reappearance in Avengers Infinity War, it was clear that the suit had seen some mileage, as parts of the chest were torn, revealing the chainmail-like substance underneath. He had abandoned his helmet and eventually completed the look with a pair of Wakandan vibranium gauntlet shields. So this outfit, while complete with weapons and armor, has still seen a lot of wear and tear and leaves Steve's head vulnerable. Captain America's final Avengers uniform was very similar to the one that came before it. 5 years after the world lost half of its people, Avengers like Black Widow and Captain America were doing their part in attempting to help people pick up the pieces of their shattered lives. When Scott Lang emerged from the quantum realm with a plan to reverse the damage done by Thanos 5 years earlier, it was time to suit up. His updated outfit, now reunited with his shield from Tony Stark, included the chainmail material on the outside of the outfit, unlike in the past where it was hidden underneath. This made the suit less susceptible to wear and tear damage and made Steve a much more intimidating presence. This would all be necessary as Steve would need it to fight Thanos during his assault on the Avengers facility. With input from Steve Rogers, after his daring rescue of the 107th Infantry, Howard Stark was tasked with upgrading Steve's look. This is where Steve donned his iconic round shield on the big screen, made of what Howard Stark believed to be all of the vibranium they had. As well, Steve was given a uniform, keeping with the Stars and Stripes aesthetic. This uniform was stacked with the best materials the Army had available at the time, including a bulletproof helmet, a carbon polymer flame-resistant jacket, paratrooper pants, and a utility belt complete with a gun holster. Steve was able to take down Hydra's multiple installations and even defeat the Red Skull himself while wearing this uniform, and wore it for 70 years while encased in ice. After Steve's retirement and Sam's initial refusal to take up the mantle, the government chose the perfect soldier, but not necessarily the best man to become the next Captain America. John Walker was a decorated US military veteran and a longtime Captain America fan. While he didn't quite live up to the role, and would even adopt a new one as the US agent, he still was given all the same fancy equipment. Walker's uniform was modeled in function after several of Steve's past uniforms, being resistant to knives and most gunshots. It was complete with a bulletproof helmet and a shoulder strap for carrying the iconic and what Walker would prove to be deadly shield. Maybe the biggest Captain America superfan ever, Agent Phil Coulson, had heavy input on the design worn by Captain America in the first Avengers film.
Son, just don't.
With the way things were going, people definitely needed a little old-fashioned, and Coulson and S.H.I.E.L.D. certainly delivered. Modeled after Howard Stark's original design, Cap's new suit was made with a high-tech blast-resistant stretch fabric that served as armor and helped him survive direct shots and explosions from Chitauri weapons. His new helmet was once again bulletproof, and his shield dug out of the ice with him completed the powerful ensemble. After his success in defeating Loki and the Chitauri with the Avengers, Cap signed on to work for S.H.I.E.L.D. and Captain America the Winter Soldier, and was often placed on missions with their strike force. For missions like this, S.H.I.E.L.D. made Cap a new stealth suit which he wore on his mission to retake the captured Lemurian star. This suit was made specifically to serve as a Black Ops type stealth suit, and is reinforced with a Kevlar base. His shield colors were muted as well to help with the stealth-like nature these missions called for. This suit is so effective that Steve even chose it to wear when he traveled into space for the first time, expecting another confrontation with Thanos at the Garden. Tony is coming up quite a bit on this list. Granted, in his own words, he does make all the weapons and make everyone look cooler. In Avengers Age of Ultron, the Avengers truly come together as a fully fledged team, executing missions to take out Hydra and even throwing after parties to celebrate. Now fully backed by Tony Stark, with no interference from the defunct S.H.I.E.L.D., everyone received an upgrade. Cap's new uniform was designed to be similar to his stealth suit, but able to withstand stronger attacks, including repulsor blasts that Iron Man uses. It is also outfitted with a series of electromagnets that allow him to recall his shield from the ground.
You didn't finish!
Sometime in the future, Captain America would actually develop an illness from the super soldier serum, coursing through his veins that would actually leave Steve paralyzed. His longtime friend and ally, Tony Stark, was determined to find a way he could continue to fight evil. Tony made an armored exoskeleton suit that Steve would be able to control and would act in a way that would allow him to move again. Steve would have sensors implanted in his body, similar to the ones Tony used in Iron Man 3 to call the Mark 42 armor, that would allow the exoskeleton to move for him. One would think that this suit would be the most powerful, but Tony actually designed it to be on the whole non-lethal, keeping with Cap's motif at the time of not wanting to kill. His main weapons were beams that caused his victims severe vertigo, and magnetic gloves and missile protection that were mostly used for defensive purposes. Maybe Tony should have quit the hero game and just become a sort of superhero tailor.
No kicks!
Though this particular suit was quite the feat of genius. With the combination of Hank Pym's quantum discoveries, Tony Stark was able to outfit each of the Avengers with this unique time travel suit, allowing them to return to the past and collect the Infinity Stones. While the suit itself is not particularly effective in combat, and Steve and the other Avengers would even wear more effective suits underneath, the power to travel in time cannot be understated. Steve alone with this suit was able to acquire Pym particles, the Time Stone, and the Mind Stone. Thor was able to recover Mjolnir, and the Avengers were able to gather all of the Infinity Stones. The implications alone grant Steve an incredible power, which he also uses to live out his dream life with Peggy. In a distant alternate future, Steve Rogers V is a descendant of the original Captain America, and has adopted the totally original moniker of Commander America. In this What If issue, Commander America is a member of the Cosmic Avengers, and the story being explored is what would happen if the team went up against the Guardians of the Galaxy. Given that this takes place in the future, Commander America's suit is upgraded greatly. His outfit comes with a helmet that allows him to travel in space. Most importantly, and I cannot stress this, Commander America is rocking some shoulder pads, which I'm sure do a great job of, protecting his shoulders. Post-Civil War in the comics, Steve Rogers was actually killed. Unlike in the film, Steve actually willed the position and mantle of Captain America to his longtime best friend, Bucky, despite his history as the Winter Soldier. Bucky actually had to take the shield from a shield helicarrier to learn that Steve had passed it on to him. With a request from the now executive director of S.H.I.E.L.D., Tony Stark, Bucky decided to adopt his new title and a new incredibly powerful suit. This suit is probably the most indestructible of any Captain America suit, as it is laced with an adamantium weave. This gives it a shiny metallic appearance, but is still very easy to move in. Complete with Cap's iconic shield, this incredibly durable outfit makes Bucky Barnes a very effective Captain America. After the battle with Thanos in Avengers Endgame, Steve Rogers was tasked with returning the Infinity Stones to the moments they were borrowed from. Instead of returning, Steve decided to live out his life in the past with his love, Peggy. He would return to officially retire as Captain America and pass the role on to an incredibly worthy successor, Sam Wilson. After a brief period, throughout the events of The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Sam officially took on the role. With some help from Bucky, Sam was given a specially made Wakandan suit to serve as the symbol of the country. Modeled after his Exo 7 Falcon wings, his suit is a vibranium weave with vibranium wings. There is a special location for his shield on his back, allowing him to create a protective and impenetrable cocoon. It is likely that his wings create weapons similar to that of his normal Falcon wings, such as rocket launchers and machine guns. We all know that a helmet would make a lot of sense, but even without it, this is still one powerful fashion statement. When tasked with defending the nation, it is important to look the part. Which cap suit do you think is the most powerful? And who would you want to make your cap suit? Dibs on the Wakandans.